In January 2019, Vintage Church launched a new 2-year ministry vision called Anticipate. And with that vision, we asked God, what's next? What's next for future impact, future generations, and future churches? And over the last few months, our church has had hundreds of gospel conversations. We've served our city. In our generations ministries, we've added kids, students, leaders, and volunteers. And we're in the process of hiring a generations director. We've prayerfully and financially supported our church plants, Dwell Church in Denver and Vintage Church Pittsburgh, and we're planning new trips to go and serve both churches. Most importantly, we have seen people changed by Jesus and baptized. As we pursue God's vision together, I want to encourage and challenge us to continue to pray, go, and give. Let's believe the Lord for future impact, future generations, and future churches. Let's anticipate what's next.
All right, well, good morning, Vintage. You just now saw that video, and my name is Pastor Brick. I want to take a real quick moment, and today's a little bit different. Most of us are starting our fall, right? Kids are back to school. If you're a college student, you're back in classes, and so today's going to be a little bit of a refresher because the fall season is a really important one for us. And you've just now seen a video from Pastor Dustin about the Anticipate initiative. This is our ministry vision that we are currently working on that we started in January for the next 2 years. Connect's going to come forward, and we're going to pass out some things that sort of talk about this. Everybody get a ping pong ball as we sort of talk about this. For some of you, this is new. For some of you, this is a refresher. We have these books out here in the lobby if you want to get one of those on your way out today. But everybody right now can pull out your phone. It's okay to use your phone in church. You can put in anticipatenola.com. That web link is actually all of this ministry vision put for you on a website. And so, fire it up there. AnticipateNola.com. Bam, there we go. So, pull your phone out, you can see that. I want to talk with you about the 3 major components that are a part of this initiative. First was future impact, and this is about our Serve NOLA, okay, and what we're doing in outreach. It's about further discipleship through the F260 plan, but particularly this was a really big push on gospel conversations, and this is what this ping pong ball represents. It's one person in your life that you need to have a conversation with that helps someone take a next step towards Jesus, and this could look in a lot of different ways. This could be maybe just praying for someone. This could be someone saying no thanks, and you maybe want to talk with them later. Maybe someone saying, I want some more information. Let's talk more about that. Maybe it's someone that hears you talk about this and says, share more with me about this. Maybe it's someone that actually says, wow, I'm ready to have that in my life. How do I take a next step in Jesus in that way? And so that's a part of our future impact. Future generations involves our V kids and our V students. It looks at not just the church of the future as we call them, but it looks at some expanded leadership as well as a community playground we believe we want to put out here in these next 2 years that's going to be a great outreach to this community. And then finally, it was future churches, and this involves particularly 2 church plants and something that we're trying to do in planting a church in our own city. There's Dwell and Josh Cook in Denver, Colorado. There's Vintage Church Pittsburgh. So if you don't know, we exist not only in New Orleans, but we also exist in Pittsburgh. We have 2 churches up there. Pastor Rob Wilton, our founding pastor, is planting up there. And then we have a desire to begin to work towards the process of opening a Vintage Church in Orleans Parish. And so that's sort of what that encompasses. What I want to do is take a quick moment, just sort of reflect and share with you a little bit about what we have done up until this point. We're about halfway through the first year, and then talk a little bit about how we keep doing this. And so when we look at what we've done, there's some things that we can really celebrate this morning. If you're on that Anticipate website, there is another link you can click. There's a little tab that says updates, and this is where we are putting pictures and stories and constantly trying to update you and everyone else about how God is working in these sort of 3 areas. And so if you want to pull out your phone and look look at that, you'll see of some of the things that we can celebrate. Particularly, I want to talk about first just future impact. We have seen this number now change because of the 9. We have seen 12 baptisms up until this point, and that's incredible, right? That's on a pace of basically 1 a month. Yes. You're about to see the video here in a minute of who we baptized during the 9, right? This is the most tangible way that we can celebrate the future impact that's happening, right? Someone communicating that they have trusted in Jesus, their life has gone from death to life. And I would just encourage you, maybe this is a step you haven't taken in your life. Maybe this is a step of obedience. We believe this is what Jesus calls us to in following him, to obediently be baptized. And maybe you have questions about that. We would love to talk with you about that. We would love to celebrate with you as your church family and seeing you have your baptism. But there also, we every week ask our first-time guests, and so we track that. These numbers matter. These are people that have come into our church. And so at this point, as of last Sunday, we've had 221 first-time guests that have filled out the card. That's pretty incredible, right? It's a lot of people. Okay, based on last year at this point, that's more than what we had last year, right? And so we love that this church, this house that we have, constantly people are coming. We can be hospitable to them. We can meet them. We can greet them. And we can see them take their next steps with Jesus. What about Serve NOLA? This is a big thing we've been pushing a lot. And this year, we're really excited. We were able to add a couple more outreach partners. We had a day earlier in the spring. All this summer, we've been having a Serve NOLA challenge through our V groups, rallying to serve one of these various different partners. And at this point this year, we've had over 650 hours spent from the spring serve day and even this summer's V groups of us serving in some way with one of these partners. And so we're so excited. Thank you those who have served. I will encourage you that in a few weeks, we have another big serve day coming up, okay? Maybe you saw that as you came in. There's a table out there that has a lot of sign-up sheets of paper, has a TV on it. We've got a big day coming up, okay? There's about 12 or so sites that we want to mobilize all of us to serve in. And so it's September 21st. We want to invite you. This is a great opportunity for maybe someone you're having a gospel conversation with to simply invite them and say, hey, I'm going to help foster kids with my church. I'm going to actually help paint this building. I'm actually going to help clean this space out. Why don't you come with me and meet some of my church peeps, okay? And so this is a great opportunity for you to invite someone. It's an incredible day, September 21st. Pastor Matthew Weaver and his team are outside if you'd like to meet them. Some of the things we've done with outreach are event-based. We remember the Crawfish Bowl. Everybody loves the free crawfish we do in the spring. Amen. Coolest thing about this is we put a sign out on the road that just said free crawfish for like 2 weeks, okay? And I met a single mom with 4 kids who came just because we said we're giving away free crawfish. It was so cool. Those kind of outreach events enable us to bring people onto our campus, connect with them, talk with them. We have her information. We're continually following up with her. And so that shows you one way that this outreach is also happening. Pastor John McCann leads our vintage nights. We had one in the spring, had multiple decisions for Christ that we're following up with. We're not ready to unveil yet, but we're working up something really huge for December in our vintage nights then. And so that's just sort of some future impact. What about future generations? All outside of what we do every week on a Sunday or a Wednesday or whatever with our kids and our students, we had a really big event this summer where we did the Wet and Wacky Water War, right? It was pretty crazy. It's the most epic event a church has ever done. We had a lot of kids, and they got to learn through these water-based challenges just what the value of Jesus cleansing their life does. It was an awesome time, over 100 kids. We saw some people continue to sort of talk, even little kids, right? Talk about taking their next step with Jesus. We can't highlight this enough. Last Sunday was Move Up Sunday. We had 12 or 13 kindergartners move up. Last week at the 11, there were 33 school-age kids in that room right there, okay? And that was not chaotic at all. So we love that, how God's growing our ministry, and then also our V students. We've doubled our V students ministry by just moving up all the 6th graders this year. They had one of our largest retreats ever a few weeks back, and so this fall's going to be an amazing time for them. So that's a little bit about what we've done. And now I want to talk just about how do we keep doing this, okay? The reality is this is a ministry vision for us. And in order for it to be a vision, and in order for us to accomplish this, it does mean that we have to collectively fund this vision. And so what is this going to cost us? How is it that we're going about doing this? And I just want to talk real briefly about what we've sort of put together. When we made this vision, it wasn't just a bunch of stuff we wanted to do. We tried to begin to say, what is that going to cost us? And so what we've been praying for, been shooting for, and aiming for is to take up over $2 million in the next 2 years, right? This year and next next year. That number is made up of a couple of different things. One, we have set our budget for this year and next year, our current ministry budget, and that's involved in that $2 million. Just to let you know, we've remained very frugal in how we are spending and how we're doing our expenses, our ministry budgets. Even this year and next year, sort of budgeting less expenses than we expect to take in. So we as a church are trying to do that in all that we do in our ministry. There's also a big part of this is that when we go into ministry visions like this or initiatives, we're trying to expand our generosity. And so one of the things we've been praying for is an expanded generosity through new givers, through people who step into the church, through maybe some of us increasing our generosity of over $500,000 in these next 2 years. And so I just want to give you a little bit at first of a generosity report. That's the goal, but how are we doing? We're actually doing pretty well with our current ministry budget. We'll put some numbers up here and sort of show you. The big thing I would sort of say is there's our receipts and there's sort of our income deficit at this point. We had a really low August, like $10,000 less than we normally get in months, all right? Don't know why, don't know what y'all thought about that, whatever, but we wanted to let you know, okay? We're not panicked. September through December is always our biggest time of giving, but we're tracking pretty well on pace, and we just want to encourage you, okay? I want to close with sort of talking to two particular people today when we think about funding this vision, because the reality is that we're all in this together, right? Those of us who call Vintage home, and it's upon us to link arms collectively and see this vision happen. We can do this, right? And so there's two people. One, maybe there's some of you that have not given or are not regular in your giving. And I just want to say, begin to be regular giver this fall. Through September and December, what could you do in your life to regularly give to Vintage? You do not know how much $100 a month or $200 a month or $300 a month go a long way in helping us collectively accomplish this vision in our ministry. And so we'd love to invite you to join us this fall in helping us accomplish this vision. For those of you guys who have been regular and who are regular givers, thank you so much for your generosity. You're enabling our church to see impact in generations and in people, not only in New Orleans, but beyond. And I just want to encourage all of us who are regular givers, what can we do this fall to maybe increase our giving in some way? What's a slight change? What's a slight adjustment we can make to step up a little bit in our generosity? Because we can accomplish this together. But we need to collectively come together, generously giving to see Jesus use that. And so we're going to a time now of giving of our tithes and our offerings. And I just want to invite you, we have 4 ways to give that we talk often about at Vintage. Around your seat should be a green envelope. So if you want to pull that out, we take all forms of cash and checks, and you can drop that in, okay? We also, a lot of us don't carry cash and check. We have a lot of online options. On our webpage, even on that Anticipate page, there's a give button where you can go and make an online gift. You can set a profile up. You can make it reoccurring. If you've got your phone out and you've been looking at those updates, jump over to your text messaging app and just simply text VC NOLA to 77977. You'll receive a text message back about 10 to 15 seconds. You can make a gift, okay? Probably the best way you can give online, though, is to go this week in your bank account and set us up in online bill pay. It's free for you. It's free for us. We receive a check about 5 days later. We deposit that, and you can be a regular giver. Let's continue to be faithful in our generosity. Let's continue to say, Jesus, we want to give back to you because you've given to us to use this money to further advance your kingdom. Connect Team, come forward. I want us to go into a time of prayer. This has been a moment to just sort of real quickly reflect on what God's done. And I want you to think not just of this church, but I want you to think of your own life. What's one way in the last 8 months or so you've seen God work in your life? I just want you to bow your head right now and just thank God for that. Maybe it's a promotion. Maybe it's a thing that didn't seem like it was going to come through. Maybe it's a provision you saw in your life. Maybe it's an answer of prayer. Maybe it's something that you've seen God open a door for. But take a moment and just thank Jesus for that one thing that he's done in your life over these past 8 months.